This is Andy Parole for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by WBA Super and Marine Magazine World Champion Callum Smith. Callum, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Really good.
It's good to hear. Obviously, it's been a while since you've had this fight, a fight announcement to kind of give us some news on, and it has finally been announced over these past few days. John Ryder, your mandatory defence. Just talking about the decision to take on the mandatory now.
Yeah, it's a mandatory, so you've got to. Obviously, there's ways you can put them off, kind of thing, and they'll try and squeeze a fight in the meantime. But in the end, you've got to do them at some point. So I just thought, just do it now. It's a good fight for me. John Ryder's a good fighter. He's in good form. I'm happy to be back fighting again. I just wanted to date an opponent as soon as possible, just to get myself back in full camp. And now I've been in the gym ticking over, but I kind of needed an opponent to base me training on. And John Ryder's the opponent, and I say it's a good feeling being back in Liverpool. I think it's just over 2 years now since I've been fighting here, and first time fighting as a world champion. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, since your last fight against Hassan and Dam, did you think that you would go in with your mandatory challenger as soon as you have done, or was you thinking you might have been able to put it off a bit longer?
I don't know. Like I say, you never know when they're going to get called. To be honest with you, and the minute it was called, it was to be trying, squeeze another fight in. But then it's hard getting an opponent. So it was in my opinion, it's the right fight for me at the right time. Like I say, he's a good fighter. I've got a lot of respect for him. He's there to become a world champion himself. It's a big opportunity for him, but it's also a fight I've got to win if I want to go and have, there's talk of me fighting all the biggest names in the division, so they all disappear if I slip up this time. So listen, I'm fully focused. I'm here to put on a big performance in front of my own fans, and I think John Ryder will see the very best in me.
So just talk to me about John then, and what do you expect from John on fight night?
I'm expecting the best version of him. It's his biggest opportunity, so I've been in his position challenging for the world title. You don't know if another one's going to come, so it does bring out a little bit more in you, and I'm expecting that from him. But people talk about him being in good form. I'm in very good form myself, and I believe I'm the best in the world, and I'll beat whoever's in the opposite corner, and that includes John Ryder.
Now, you're obviously ranked as the #1 super middleweight in the world. You hold that Ring Magazine title, the WBA Super belt. You just mentioned being back in Liverpool for the first time in 2 years. Are you feeling an added pressure in that sense, that because of how highly ranked you are and how highly thought of you are across boxing, there is that added pressure being back in your home city as well?
No, to be honest with you, I think I've had pressure my whole career. I was, touted as a given world champion after 3 fights, and I achieved less than that. Was just I was expected to win, so I've always had pressure on me, but any pressure is from myself. I know how good I am. I set the bar very high in terms of what I want to achieve in the sport, and I thought winning the world champion was the pinnacle, and I've won it, and I've realised it's not. It's just made me more determined to go on and achieve more, and that starts now. It started with Hassan and Dam, and now it's John Ryder, and to go and unify the division, to go and try and become undisputed, to try and become 2-8 world champion. They're all the things that I've now set goals to become. They all fall apart if I slip up now, so I'm more focused now than I've ever been, and I say being back in Liverpool for the first time, it's a chance to perform in front of them. So any pressures from myself, but every fight since my debut till now has been a must-win.
Now, obviously, this fight is promoted by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sport. Firstly, is this just a one-fight contract, or is it a long-term thing that you've agreed to?
I don't know. Listen, we're still talking. They offered me this fight, and I'll potentially want it in the new year. That's as far as I know. I never planned too far ahead. Boxing's a funny sport, anything can happen. So I don't like planning too many far ahead. I just get this one out the way, then we look to the next one. And like I said in the last interview done, I'm happy. I've always had a good relationship with them, and until that changes, then I'll stay where I am.
With that in mind, does that mean that you don't really have any plans to maybe go and revisit the other offers that were put to you from abroad, from America?
Like I said, if I'm not happy with the position I'm in, then of course I'll speak to others. It's a short career for myself, and I've got to be selfish, and I've got to do what's best for me. At the minute, I feel the best place for me is Matchroom, DAZN, Sky Sports. That's where I am. If that changes in the future, then we'll look to go elsewhere. But I've always stayed where what was best for me in my career, and that's exactly why I'm here.
You mentioned it's a short career, and I remember speaking to yourself and Joe, and especially Joey said that he only sees you boxing for maybe another 18 months or 2 years. Why do you see yourself retiring at such an early age?
Listen, I don't know. Listen, I'm taking it everything as it comes. You might still see me at 39, still fighting. But no, I've always said I'd like to get in and out. It's a tough sport, and especially of late, you're seeing some bad things happening in the ring and through boxing, and you just never know whether that could be you. And I always said as long as I could get in, achieve what I wanted to achieve earn as much as I can and get out and be satisfied and content, then why not? Why stay in longer to chase something that you don't really need? So the way my career's going, if I can get the fights that I feel I can and I can win and achieve what I feel I can, then I won't have nothing left to do. So if I can do that as quick as I can, then I'll gladly walk away and say be content with what I've achieved. If I'm left still wanting more, then I may stay in boxing, but I'd like to get out with a little bit left rather than get out with a little bit gone.
Now, before I do let you shoot off, because I know that there's people waiting to speak to you, I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of fights over this past weekend. Firstly, Errol Spence Jr. versus Sean Porter. What was your thoughts on that one, Callum?
Good fight. I kind of knew beforehand. Obviously, I rate Spence. I picked Spence to win. I think he's a very, very good talent. Porter's a nightmare for anyone. He's rough and rugged, and he's got a bit of ability about it as well. The way he does it. So I always knew it weren't going to be a straightforward fight, and I think he surprised a lot of people how close the fight was until the later rounds. I think the championship rounds where Spence kind of pulled away, but a good fight, and it's a very good division. You could see Porter now go walk into another fight and give a good account of himself again. So it's a good division and a good fight, and I'd like to hopefully see Spence now go in with your Crawfords and your Pacquiaos.
You've just mentioned the Crawfords and the Pacquiaos. There's been a lot of suggestions that it may be Danny Garcia next that he faces. Obviously, it would be a great fight. But you're in a similar position in the sense that everybody wants to see those unification bouts, etc., and see those big names. Do you feel that that's the fight that you would want to see, or would you rather see the Pacquiaos and the Crawfords, like I say?
Listen, obviously, as a boxing fan, you want to see champion v champions. At the minute, Garcia, I don't think he hasn't got a belt, has he? Yeah, so you'd want to see the unifications, but I understand it's not that straightforward. You have to have little fights in the meantime and stuff, and if he's having a fight in the meantime, Danny Garcia is not a bad opponent for a keep busy fight kind of thing. So listen, it's a good division. There's a lot of the champions are all good fighters, but there's a lot of good fighters who haven't got titles. As I say now, like Sean Porter, he's not a world champion, but he's a very good fighter, and same with Danny Garcia. So listen, as long as they're in good fights and giving the fans what they want to see, then I'm sure the unification fights will come eventually.
And obviously on that undercard, Dirrell-Benavidez defeating Anthony Dirrell. What was your thoughts on David's victory and picking up that WBC World Super Middleweight title?
It's a good win. Dirrell's a good fighter. I picked Benavidez to win beforehand. I thought the fight was quite close, to be fair. I thought the cut had played a big part in it, but Benavidez is a good fighter. He's got his world title back, which I felt he would, and he's put himself back in the mix for big fights, and he's put himself back on my target line kind of thing. They're the fights I want. The people with belts in my division, I want to take them belts off them, so he's definitely part of my sights in the future.
Out of the current super middleweight world champions, who do you think would pose you the most difficulties? Billy Joe, Caleb Plant, or obviously Dirrell-Benavidez?
The three good fights. I think it's good for the division. We've got 4 champions who are all unbeaten, and I think that's quite rare. And I think we all need to fight each other at some point. They're all good fighters, but they're good in different ways. Saunders is good boxing ability, good slick mover, not the biggest puncher. Benavidez is a big puncher, probably not as good in boxing ability, and Plant's a mixture of both, and it a little bit, good boxer. So they all pose different threats, but stars make fights, and I believe I can beat all 3 of them on my day, and I'd like to find that out. They're the fights that I want, and they're the fights that I'll be asking for. Want to take care of me mandatory.
Well, Callum Smith, as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to myself and Boxing Social.
Thank you, anytime, mate.